Hey guys, welcome back to Miss Anna's at-home science lab. First, we will do science. Today we will be learning part 2 of diseases. Then you can choose from one of these desired activities. Let's review the steps of synthesizing knowledge. First, listen to the teacher. Second, listen to the whole lesson. Third, think about the information now. Fourth, think about the information later. Okay, here are some of the main ideas we need to learn from this lesson. We'll be talking about cancer. Cancer is a disease. Some diseases can be cured. All right, here's our vocabulary words. Fatal. That's a scary word. That means that it results in death. So some diseases may result in death. They may be fatal. Contagious. This is when something is able to be passed on to someone else. Contagious. So someone else can catch the disease. Cancer. A common disease where cells divide without control. Cure. A way to get rid of a disease. Okay, so first we will talk about cancer. So cancer is when the cells divide and it forms a mass, or what we may call a tumor. So cancer does not have a cure, but it does have some forms of treatment. Cancer is not an infectious disease, and it is not contagious. So you do not catch cancer from other people. Cancer is a disease that results from mutations in the body's DNA. These mutations cause problems with the cell cycle and cell division. Cells begin dividing uncontrollably and produce too many cells in an area. Those cancer cells can break off and move to other parts of the body. Cancer is common and it can be fatal, but not always. Tumors are formed from cell division. They can be very dangerous. So here you see a place on a person's skin where the cells have divided and it has formed a tumor on their arm. Okay, so we have some questions about this. When someone asks you a question, listen to the question, listen to all the choices, think about your choices, use your problem-solving skills, answer the question by choosing just one of the answer choices. Okay, blank is a disease. Is it cancer, photosynthesis, or protein? Blank is a disease. Hopefully you said cancer. Yes, cancer is a disease. It is a non-infectious disease, which means it's not contagious. You do not catch it from other people. Okay, now we'll learn about something called Alzheimer's disease. So you see in the picture there's a person's brain. So maybe this disease has something to do with the brain. Let's find out. Alzheimer's is a disease of the brain that affects older people. It is not contagious, so we do not catch it from other people. Memory problems that worsen over time are the main symptom associated with Alzheimer's disease. Neurons in the brain die, so the brain does not work very well anymore. There is no cure for Alzheimer's, and it's eventually fatal. Alzheimer's occurs in elderly people. Okay, let's talk about something a little happier though. Curing diseases. So biologists, they try to find cures for diseases through research. Every disease is different and requires a different cure. Many drugs are available to help get rid of some diseases. Some drugs only stop the symptoms but cannot get rid of the diseases. As biologists find cures to more diseases, people will continue to live longer lives. So if you look at 200 years ago, the average person did not live nearly as long as what the average person lives now. We can usually live a lot longer because we have so many cures for diseases. So, some diseases can be what? Resources, organelles, or cured. Some diseases can be cured. Good job. Some diseases can be cured. Okay, antibodies help prevent the body from getting a certain disease. Okay, so in this picture, you can see the antibodies. They're trying to fight. Remember, we talked about this when we talked about the immune system. So antibodies are very important in fighting diseases. Vaccines are used to prevent the body from getting a specific infectious disease. Vaccines are usually given as a shot at the doctor's office. A vaccine triggers the immune system to make antibodies. Remember, those antibodies are what helps fight the disease. These will prevent the germs from infecting the body later. Many vaccinations are for diseases that once killed many people. The vaccinations have made many of the diseases disappear. So vaccines are usually given through an injection or a shot like this one in the picture. So let's talk about genetic diseases. Genetic diseases are related to people's DNA. You guys are talking a lot about DNA right now in your English class. So remember, we get DNA from our parents, our grandparents, and we move on up the family tree. So it's very important to know if your family has a history of genetic diseases. Many diseases, such as cancer, are not infectious diseases. So we don't catch them from sneezing on somebody, or from somebody sneezing on us or coughing on us, or touching our hands to our face. That's not how that works. Things such as lifestyle, so how we choose to live our lives, if we eat right, exercise. So lifestyle, genetics, which is like our family history. So looking at if our parents or grandparents had any diseases. And the environment, which means things we're around, so making sure we're not around mold or chemicals, things like that, can cause long-lasting diseases in people. So lifestyle, genetics, and the environment. Those cause long-lasting diseases in people. These types of diseases or conditions are often related to one specific organ. The organ stops working properly, which causes problems in the body. These diseases can sometimes be fatal. So Diabetes is an example of a disease with genetic and lifestyle factors. Diabetes can develop when the pancreas doesn't work properly. Too much sugar is left in the blood after digestion and absorption by the digestive system. The heart is another common organ affected by disease. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in the United States. So a reminder, eating too much sugar is bad for the body, and we're going to be talking about that in our lab this week. Okay, so we have some questions. We have to think, what is the problem? How do you know? What do you need to solve the problem? Do you have all the information? Try to solve. Is it wrong? It's okay. Try again. A blank disease can be passed on to someone else. Embryo, contagious, symptom. Good job. Contagious. A contagious disease can be passed on to someone else. Okay, so we're going to do our diversity piece, but first we need to learn, how does this apply in the school? How does this apply in the community? How does this apply in the world? So let's go on to how this applies in the world. So right here, you can see the United States. Now, this is a map of the whole Earth, the whole world. So we see some little numbers on here. That is the number of vaccines that that area requires, at least in part. The number that's recommended by the World Health Organization. So you see in the United States of America, we are asked to get about 14 vaccinations. Okay, and then you see some lower numbers over here. Wow, places in South America, they require or they ask that you get about 24 vaccinations. Okay, and some places in Africa, we see as low as 5 as well. Over here in Australia, we see 16. So it just depends on where you are in the world and how likely you are to be exposed or to be around something that could give you that disease, or how likely you would be to catch that disease. So an example of a vaccination that a lot of people here get would be the vaccination for the measles. Also a vaccination for the flu. So those things help your body and your immune system fight so that you don't get that that disease, or so you don't get as sick from that disease. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. You did a very good job today. Miss you all.